What's going on? Uh, man, I was just watching this video by a channel called Bible Institute, and this dude was breaking down what it means, like what biblical watching means. I mean, it means many things. Like I heard this one guy say, it's like being active, being like easily look to the right or the left. I think that's I heard Russ Dizdar say that, and I was like, yeah, that's I get that, and it's in what else is another part of it is always peering off, looking for danger in the distance or close by. You know what I'm saying? Like Paul says, the end time shall be perilous days. And I mean, I've just come out of perilous situation, out of perilous situation, out of perilous situation, into more perilous situations these days. So, that's why this type of stuff is kind of important to think about. But biblical watching, it always talks about lest you're found naked, and not having your spiritual garments on. But there's also an ancient practice of the priesthood, the high priest, or there was like a guy that was a priest, and what he did, that's why people were supposed to be sitting there praying, keeping their fires going. Sometimes they would fall asleep, and this guy would, if he caught you while you were sleeping, he'd take a little piece of your coal, set it on your garment. So then tomorrow when they see you, they're going to look at your garment and say, look, do you see this burn here? You're found naked. You weren't praying. You weren't paying attention. I mean, I know there's probably times where maybe other circumstances where maybe a coal just got up on there and you were praying with your eyes closed or whatever, and your garment got burnt a little bit. But no, actually, it said they would almost light them on fire as a form of don't do that again, because it brings shame to the man and everyone else. And just like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, he's like, pray with me, brethren. Watch. Keep watch while I'm out here praying, when he's weeping blood and asking God, take this cup from me. You know what I'm saying? This is the same thing. That's biblical watching. And listen, and Jesus came to find them, and if they were found naked, if he was the high priest like it was back in the Ark of the Covenant days, Jesus would have lit each one of their pant legs on fire. You know what I'm saying? As kind of it's a practice, man, of kind of like shame. You don't want to come to shame and dishonor yourself and your your teachers. You know what I'm saying? So, but we do from time to time. So it's just, but when it counts, you want your garment on. You want them white, ready. You know what I'm saying, ready to go. It's like you don't want to wear. I mean, it's like you got your garment, but then you got the wedding garment. The wedding garment's waiting, and like it's your bug out. Like when Jesus calls, it's bug out time. Grab the garment, get your oil. You know what I'm saying, and go out to meet. The gathering. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I mean, that's what I perceive of this. But and it's also a practice of the captain of the guard, which is he's like he's a watchman, and he at night he looks and makes sure all the other watchmen are on their game too. It's just an encourager. You know what I'm saying? If you see him walking, I don't want him to catch me falling asleep, because he's gonna you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get punished and dishonor my whole everyone and put him at danger. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely relevant to biblical watching in these end times. It's just like Jesus, like, yo, it's gonna come upon you like a thief. You don't want it to come upon you like a thief. You want to be watching and sensing the danger, knowing the times, and being easily able to look to the right or the left. You know what I'm saying? It's a very proactive thing. Same thing with the captain of the guard. These dudes used to sneak around at night. That's what their whole job was, to sneak around and watch the watchers. You know what I'm saying? Or you could even just say your watchman on the wall. I mean, that's him too. He sneaks around at night in the quiet times, just to make sure that there wasn't danger. All right, like there's an Indian story where there was a blood feud going on, and out of retribution, the Indians were encamped around this camp of other Indians. I mean, it's relevant which tribes they were, but they said that a dog started barking because it probably heard them rustling on their approach, even though they move real subtle. And the scout came out of his tent and he was like, you know what I'm saying? And he looked around and he listened and he didn't hear nothing. So he went back in his tent. And that's when all of a sudden they attacked. They all attacked all at once. You know what I'm saying? That was a watchman. Even though he didn't see the danger. He tried though. That was a good watchman. And he died clean. It's, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess maybe he could have walked out to the field to make sure. But I mean, he still was on his job. But you see how that works there. Man, I'm getting attacked by allergies right now, man. It sucks. But these are some pretty that's interesting information there. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's a certain I don't know, man. There's just different deeper levels of understanding of these things, man. And like, do you know what the Nazaritic oath is? You know what I'm saying? You ever heard of that? Uh, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but you know, have you ever heard of it? Uh, so I mean, here's another part of it. Like I said, man, there's a lot of people, man, that hid scrolls in caves. That's another form of these men. And here's another thing, King David, okay? When he came into the cave and he cut off a piece of Saul's garment. This is the same thing as in the temple burning the bottom of someone's garment so you can be like, look, you were sleeping. I burnt you there. You know what I'm saying? That is also counting coup. You know what I'm saying? And it's also you made your case and it's proven, the evidence is there. I mean, I'm sure there's ways, you know, you probably could frame someone, but I mean, if you're, you know, one of these guys, you know, I'm sure no, they would be bad things would happen if they did that. But these are just this is just, you know, these are all this is cool understanding here. This is entertaining and it's historical and it's also tactical and it's also you know it's deeper revelation on that particular area of things. And then I found out the other day I read Deuteronomy. So Deuteronomy ended right off into Joshua. So I read through Joshua and then again, which is a damn good book. Joshua is, but at the end, right towards the end of Joshua, I mean Joshua also talks about how all the tribes got different lands and even they all got lands for their cattle. I mean, there's all these different breakdowns and who got what, and even some daughters, because there was no sons, got some land. And I come up with a new term right here, man. I'm what you call a 12-triber, which means that that doesn't mean that Judah isn't a real tribe. And then there even like Benjamites and Levites. The Levites, their inheritance is it was their closeness to God, I guess. Kind of it said in their place that to be the priest is its own inheritance, basically. So it's crazy crazy shizzle, man. Steep shizzle. But yeah, back to the in Joshua. There's the part where the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half of Manasseh. It doesn't say all of Manasseh. Half of Manasseh must have been the scouts. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I'm sure I read that like Gad, the Reubenites, and half of Manasseh would always be the first guys to go in. That's why they were also given inheritance, I think, first, in a different inheritance. But towards the end of it, there's a spot where all of a sudden some priest comes up and he's like, he told the Gadites, the Reubenites, and Manasseh, he's like, hey, what is this strange altar that you built? That's neither for sacrifice or burnt offering, something like that. and it was a strange altar, and it's weird, but basically, Israel basically put it out there like, hey, should we kill these guys for transgression of our covenant with God? And they all met basically, and then Gad and the Reubenites and half of Manasseh was like, hey, look, no, this isn't a violation of our covenant or our commandment, because if it is, you know what I'm saying? I think basically they were like, let God, uh, uh, it's some way it was like, if God wasn't for this, this would happen. And they said, we swear before God we did not break the covenant. And it was like, and it was accepted, and everyone was like, okay. And they kind of, damn, they kind of dispersed out a little further after that, but it was all good. There was no bad blood in the end. And they in the, I think it even said the Gadites was like, look, hey, we swear before God, Lord God, the God of gods, God of the God of Moses, and they weren't punished in any way, and they weren't cursed or nothing like that. It's like it was just like a big misunderstanding. But I mean, I'm not sure exactly all the details of this. You know what I'm saying? But I would like to know. But if everyone was all cool with it, it must have been some kind of misunderstanding. And I want to know exactly what these things are. You know what I'm saying? But because I'm not totally sure, I might look into that. You know what I'm saying? And look at all the information and from multiple sources, and because there's some people say, nah, this ain't connected, and other people are like, this is connected. But the mainstream don't want certain information out for some reason. They don't want it to be common knowledge, man. So they can write a book about it, man, or something, make it profit. So stuff I was thinking about today, man. Pretty cool stuff.